What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Flop. Today, we have the privilege of having Josh All Day Glover on. He is the co-ed doubles ACL World Champion in 2022, and also he is a newly qualified ACL Pro in 2022. Josh, what's going on? How are you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How about y'all?
We're doing fantastic, man. Before we get started, I'd just like to thank our sponsor, Triple Crown. They have a really awesome announcement. They are launching their own bags. So they're going to be releasing their new designs at an ACO event in Lake Charles, Louisiana on September 2nd. So I'm super excited that they're going to have their own bags. We've always loved the Triple Crown collab bags, and we're super excited to be able to throw some true, authentic Triple Crown bags in the future. So thank you guys, and we always appreciate your support. So Josh, we're super excited to have you on. For those that don't know you, we'd love to hear a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you got into the game.
I'm originally from a little town called Holiday, Tennessee, middle of nowhere, basically. We don't even have a gas station there, or all we had a post office and a school. But just basically, I started playing slow pitch softball after I got out of school, and slow pitch softball, they like to play cornhole when they're in between games, and I thought I was pretty good until one time when I first moved to Memphis. I thought I was pretty good at it, so I was like, I'm gonna look it up and see if they play it around here anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's where I found one of the local guys around here that was running things, Michael Catlin. And I ran in. That's where I first met Philip Barnett, Tim Hill, all them guys, and I thought I was good until I met them. Then when you don't score a point the first 4 or 5 games, you're like, I might need to work on something, because that was the first time I ever, found a fast and slow bag. I thought I was used to throwing corn bags, but I took time. I was like, I'm competitive. I played sports my whole life, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'm either gonna get good or I'm gonna quit. So I started practicing, and things went up from there. And that's been about 5.5 years from now.
Well, and that's awesome. It's a great story, but it's such a common story. You have people who they dabble into cornhole a little bit, at like backyard functions and barbecues and sporting events, and then they start to get the little feel like, hey man, I think I'm pretty good at this game. So they think they're pretty good at this game, and then all of a sudden they show up and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not very good at this at all. What is happening? So it's like, you're like, you run into the people who actually know what they're doing and are able to manipulate the bags and do what they want to with them. And then it's like, it's a whole different ball game.
See, but yeah, I'm still a firm believer. On that first day I met them, if they would have had corn bags, I still would have had their number. Yeah. being those stop and go bags, I wasn't used to like the stickiness and the speed of them. Like, they were different than the corn bags. They were the corn bags I had, they were loose, floppy. Every now and then you one bust and you can make popcorn if you want.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And none of them were the same weight. There was always one that was real full, and then there was one that was like a dish rag with like 4 kernels in it. And
you never had to worry about boards being slow, because the powder from the corn busting up as they hit the board was always making fast.
Yeah, it kept them slick. You didn't have to worry about it. But to comment on what you said about if we are playing with corn bags, you feel like you could have beaten them. See, I was telling Zach before the show, I said there's one thing that Josh Glover does not lack, and that is confidence. And you prove it just then. You're like, I still think I would have beat him though if we'd have played with corn bags. Like, I just love that.
100%.
That's awesome,
man. That I have in this game. If you don't got confidence in yourself, then that's when you start. You I feel like if you don't have confidence in yourself, I just don't see how you can play the game, because anybody can play, anybody can win, but confidence goes a long way, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you start doubting yourself, then you start missing certain shots. It's just, everything's downhill from there.
You're giving every shot you take like way too much thought. You start overthinking.
Exactly.
You're right. Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't matter what I do. I feel like I can hit the shot, even if I'm just goofing off. If I feel like there's like, you look at it and you're like, there's no way you can hit that shot. if I'm trying it, I feel like I can do it.
Nice.
Yeah, if you didn't think you could make it, you wouldn't try it, because that's, yeah. But yeah, I've seen it a million times. I'm local to you, and so I've seen you play a lot. And one thing that I've always noticed is, like, you don't have any hesitation now. And now if it's a really tough shot, or you have to do some kind of cut or something, I'll see you slow down and kind of think about it for a second. But if it's like an airmail or something, somebody throws a block, like, before the bag even really stops moving, you've already airmailed over it. And it's just like, it's just so automatic. And you just think every shot, I'm just going to make this. Oh, you're going to block me? Okay, I'm going to airmail over it. And you just throw it. And so you're absolutely right. Confidence is so important. We talk about it a lot on the show, just kind of believing in yourself, because it matters. It matters.
Oh, exactly. See, we got down in Senatobia where we play at, one of our local weekly blind draws. There's a bunch of new guys coming in, and they all, after I made pro, they all come up and they've been talking to me, and they're asking for tips and advice. And like I tell them, they're like, what do you look at going into games? And I was like, I don't play the player, I play the bags of the player. And in my mind, I've got about 4 or 5 shots that I shoot. And depending on where their bag is, I shoot one of those 5, and every one of them is different. So it's just, I already in my mind know what I'm doing. So I feel like the longer I sit there and think about a shot in between shots, I'm gonna make a mistake, because you'll double question what you're going to do, and probably make a mistake.
No, you're 100% right. I know anytime that I really try to put way too much thought into any shot, it usually doesn't work out. And it's usually like catastrophic too. It's not even close. It's like, well, oh well. But yeah. And I tell you what though, you mentioned, people asking you for advice and stuff. I also want to throw out there too that, Josh, you can be a very polarizing personality. Some people are, I almost want to say, just very intimidated by you, because you have this aura about you that's like, that seems like you could be a mean person. And I know it sounds weird, but I know you, and I know you're absolutely one of my favorite people. And ever since I've met you, I'm like, Josh is just the nicest dude. And you have always been so willing to help people and give advice and tips. And I've seen you do it in games playing against people. I've seen you, lean over and say, hey, if you did this, maybe that would help, maybe flatten your bag out, or if you did this or whatever. But that's one of the things I've always really appreciated is I love it when good players are teachers. I feel like that is, you've done it all. You've played and you've been playing, and you've reached pro status. And I love that you feel like, I want to help people with that. I want to take what I know, what I've learned, and I want to help others try to make their game better. I've always thought that's very admirable. So
yeah, I mean, I've been told by a lot of people what way you started the conversation about how I'm a polarizing person. Like, I really do feel like I do come off the wrong way a lot, and people do take me the wrong way. But like you said, once you get to know me, I'm like one of the nicest guys. Like, I mean, 99% of the same. Like, I tell my wife, she gets mad at it a lot. 99% of the stuff I say is just, I'm just rambling out the mouth. Like, it's just
no filter.
Take it with a grain of salt. Like, I'm serious sometimes, but like, I just like to just ramble, and some people take it the wrong way. But I mean, I love to help people. It's just, I mean, I was in the tournament one time, and I had a dude walk up to me, never met me before in my life, and he's like, "I'm adding you as a friend." He's like, I'm gonna keep up with you." He's like, because I was helping out 2 or 3 kids that were there, just playing around with them, having fun. And he's like, "I've never seen anybody just take their time like you have to help out the kids, because most people, get irritated because they're running around in between. You're sitting there trying to play a serious game. They come up to the board next to you, and their bags make it halfway down there, may fly in your lane." But he's like, I in between a game, and actually in the middle of one of my games, I stopped. I called timeout and walked over and helped the kid out in the middle of one of my games.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's great. So obviously you've played in the ACO for a while. What has your experience been in the ACO? Has the organization been good to you? I'd love to hear just a little bit about your journey through that organization before we move on to what happened at ACL Worlds this year.
Oh yeah, the organization's been great. I mean, the players, they're just like anywhere else. Every players on any given day can have their day and win. But, they've got good players. Everywhere's got good players. You got good players don't even take this game serious and travel. I mean, backyard players, like your local players, you got players like that just don't have the time or to travel. But, I mean, itself, I've been with them since the first year I played. I played with Philip Barnett for the first 2 seasons. And, I think the first 2 tournaments I went to, I made it out of pool play into the main bracket. Went to Worlds. I actually made pro status my first year at Worlds. And ever since, I've made pro every year. I've had a couple good years. We finished 3rd in Worlds in doubles. I finished actually 3rd in Worlds in doubles twice, once with Philip Barnett, once with Kyle Anderson. This year, I had the privilege of letting Caitlin Ham carry me to the co-ed World Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, I got nothing but great things to say about her, Kyle, Phil, everybody I played with. It's everybody in their own ways, just great people.
Yeah. And just to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying about Caitlin carrying you through the doubles, but Caitlin's been on a tear, an absolute tear lately. And just last night, we're recording this on Sunday, but just last night, she and Maddie McBride took down women's doubles at the in Ventura, California, at the Spencer McKenzie. So
watching it live too.
Yeah, she's really coming along in her game, and I think it's so cool that you two have been so close all these years. And I mean, she's always been your co-ed partner as long as I can recall, but I just think that's really cool that you guys y'all's paths are like going with one another. Y'all could very easily be throwing ACL co-ed, or what do they call it, mixed doubles in ACL,
that would
and
be
be
really
on
cool.
ESPN. I mean, that would be really awesome. And I hope nothing more than that for both of y'all.
That's the plan. We've talked, so we're playing mixed doubles in ACL. So
nice.
Whenever they have it, we're gonna play it.
Yeah,
but I told her dad, I think back in like November or December, whenever one of the tournaments we went to, she just looked like she found another level to her game. And I told her dad, I was like, she stays where she is. If I don't see her declining at all, but she stays where she is in her confidence level right now. I was like, we're gonna win co-ed worlds. It's like there's no way in my mind I doubt it, especially as long as I just throw halfway decent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as long as I don't let her down. That's the first thing I was thinking. Is like, just don't let her down.
No, let her down. I don't think you would. I don't think you have it in you.
So as far as co-ed worlds goes, what was the toughest game that you guys played? Like, did you guys have a relatively easy time, or was it something that you guys were really having to grind through to make it happen?
I mean, we had to grind through probably 2 or 3 games.
Okay.
Our very first game, actually, we started off slow, and luckily, I mean, I think we might have been down 4 or 5 points. It might be like 13-8 or something like that.
Okay.
And they messed up on the bracket, and they had to stop the tournament, then reset everything.
Oh my god!
Wow!
And so basically, everybody's games that they were in or finished their first round, they had to basically redo it because they messed up on something. Like it was some problem where whenever they had everybody in, but when they started it, it kicked one team out, or it had somebody on the wrong team with somebody else. It did something weird, and so I think we kind of got lucky that game because we both, wasn't really feeling good. Like she wanted to throw, I think it was outside arm, but that didn't work out. So we ended up switching after that first game, and ever since then it clicked until we ran across Tyler Amos and Philly Reiner, I think it was.
Okay.
And Tyler, Tyler Amos, anybody knows him, that joker was just like, he was hitting air mails that I would never shoot. Like,
you hate that. Yeah.
It's like, you're sitting there like, man, you're like, that's a great bag. There's nothing you could have did better than that bag. And next thing you know, Tyler's like right behind it, just like the hole ain't even the size of a dang mini donut, and he drills it. And I'm like, don't even touch nothing. I'm like, wow.
How is that even possible?
Jeez, God, I remember watching that. I watched the championship, and that was awesome, man. Honestly, it was super cool. I love you guys as dynamic. I know that both of you believe in each other, and I can tell that
Yep.
when the bags are down there with Caitlin, you're not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
Like you said, sometimes she carries you, sometimes you're happier she has the bags in
Oh,
that
yeah.
moment.
100%.
Yeah, I also want to go on record and say with 100% certainty that that first game that got restarted, those people are still saying they would have beat y'all that game.
Oh,
100%
I
if
told
that
them
game would
after
have
the
finished.
tournament. Yeah. I told them,
Yeah.
I think after that game, I walked up to the guy that was on his team because they were sitting near our chairs on the corner, and I told
Yeah.
him, I was like, if me and my partner end up winning it, I'm gonna tell everybody y'all had us down 20 to like 2. And I was like, and
Nice.
if y'all win, we're telling everybody we had y'all down like 20 to 2.
Yeah, when they
Nice.
restarted it, yeah,
Yeah,
you got to make the tail bigger. Yeah, the tail's got to be bigger. We were up 20-2, and then they were like, "Hey, we got to
make it
restart the
sound
game."
epic, you know.
Yeah,
But
That's
that's
yeah,
cool.
hilarious.
we had a couple other tough games too. Like our actually the only loss we suffered was to Ashley and Craig in the when
Oh,
they
yeah.
combined the brackets, and
Yeah.
they were our loss. I mean, it is what it is, but they do good.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing to it.
They do. I mean, that's just the way it is. But
Then we were really lucky to get by Caleb Hurt and Tammy Williams. Like when I mean, if anybody could have threw like a novice, it was me. Like I was
oh
struggling
no,
against Caleb Hurt. I don't know what it is.
oh,
I was just struggling against him. And Caitlin,
he's so good.
she carried me through it. Like I hate to say stuff like this, but when you give up a big number, it's bad. But like, I gave up a 9. It was 11-11, and I gave up a 9 to Caleb, and now it's 20-11. And
Oh,
I was lucky a couple rounds to just get watches on like just low numbers, and Caitlin she ended up getting what we needed to win the game. And after
oh
that
my
game there, it
God.
was like our confidence took off for the next couple games to get us to the championship.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that'll do it. A big come
Yeah.
from behind like that. Shoot, yeah, you
Especially
can't tell
when
me
you got
nothing.
your back against the wall, you do have a good comeback. Usually you'll gain a little confidence and you'll throw better at the next 2 or 3 games. And
Yeah.
so luckily that got us through the rest of that night.
Yeah,
That's a huge
that's
adrenaline boost for
and
sure.
that's just a tough game anyway. I mean, Caleb Hurt's so good. And so, yeah, you definitely don't want to be in a situation where they only need 1 point. So that's a great win for y'all. Great win for y'all.
That was actually, I think we played them probably 3 times this year and a lot of the majors and stuff. And that was the first time we've ever beat them. So it felt pretty good too.
Oh, nice. That's
Dang.
cool. Yeah,
That's
that's
good
great.
stuff.
That is
Especially
good.
when they probably knew they were going to win that game being at 20. I mean, that's got to be an amazing feeling to
I mean,
to
definitely,
Snatch it.
when you're up like that, you definitely do have a lot of confidence thinking, you should win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Because you're like, I can get 1 point. I
Yeah.
can get 1 point. There's no way I don't get 1
But
point.
there's also, when times you got your back against, you're so far, you're up like that, you could take a chance or two. But then if you miss those chances, then you're like, it's like it can easily just flip flop.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We saw that with Mark Richards and Philip Lopez against Jordan Power and Jay Rubin. I mean, that
was 20-2 or something, wasn't it?
I was watching that game and I had to go. I got a text for one of my games up for my qualifier, and I left, and I think there was like 16-2 or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, Phil and Mark's got this. And next thing you know, like I go play my game, somebody walks by me and they're like, Phil and Mark lost. I'm like, what? I was like, how?
It makes me sick to my stomach even right now thinking about it. Like I just can't believe it, man.
I know. Big stage. And then,
I mean, I got nothing but respect for all 4 of those guys. I mean, I've talked like I met Jordan a couple years ago at Worlds in ACO at South Carolina, and he's got a demeanor about him. I feel like me and him are really like the way we are. Like I may not like I'm arrogant. I'm confident in myself. Like he is the same way, and you feed on that. People really do feed on that, and it helps you your game, like the confidence level in your game, and you focus in. And but Mark Richards is like the most laid back guy I've ever met in my life. I met him earlier this year at the Triple Crown event, in Sioux Falls, and he is like the most polite guy I've ever met.
That's awesome.
and he's not. Everybody's nice to Phil. I met Phil there for the first time. Phil Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy. I mean, everybody you meet in this game is just as nice can be.
God, I totally agree.
Yeah, I will say you're a little quieter than Jordan is on the boards, though. Like, I might have a similar aura about you, but he's definitely a little louder on the boards than you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I feel like I used to be really bad until I teamed up with Kyle Anderson. And if anybody knows him, he's, the robot's what they call him. He's like the one person, if you like, I've had so many people ask me when we did play together, like, are y'all even friends? Do y'all not like each other? Because we never talk. We never talked. And I'm like, that's just the way we are. Like, we both play our game on each end. And and I literally, when I started playing with him, is when I actually felt like I calmed down a lot. Because I used to be like, you hit a shot, you get pumped up, I get loud.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Ever since I started playing with him, it's like everything just kind of now I'm just mellowed out now.
Yeah, I mean, with Kyle, like you said, he's so low key, and he's got the same methodical throw every time, and he's really fun to watch though, because I mean, I've watched tons and tons of y'all's double games, and it's just he's automatic. His arm goes up, it goes down, he throws, and it's in the hole. It's like airmail, same thing. It's like automatic. But yeah, he's such a calm person on the boards, though. You're right. So I can see where that would have affected your personality, or not your personality, but your demeanor on the boards, like in the game.
I felt like it maybe helped me out for the future. Like it did like calm me down a lot. Like now I take everything with a grain of salt now.
Yeah. Look, I'm not obviously at any pro level at all, but that's the main reason that I don't play yet. Exactly. That's the main reason that I don't talk any trash on the boards. I'm fully capable of talking trash. I'm a very good trash talker, but I do not trash talk when I'm on the boards, because that's when I'll have my worst game ever. So I keep quiet. I stay in my lane. I do my thing. And then afterwards before we can talk, but not during.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, so I'd like to move on to ACL Worlds. So I'd love to hear just about your experience as a whole. What was it like showing up? I mean, this is literally the highlight of people's cornhole year. Like, everyone's, they're posting online, like practicing, getting ready for Worlds. Like, this year's the year. Like, what was the anticipation like? What was it like going into the headquarters? I mean, it's a super cool facility. Just tell us a little bit about Worlds.
It was ACL Worlds was amazing. Like, when you first walk in, it's like there's a restaurant to the right. And I'm like, man, food automatic. You get hit in the face with food. It smells great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good day.
Because you won't make it very far in the building. Because you're automatically going to stop and get food. But you walk in, they got all their vendors set up. And, I mean, there's probably 100 people inside this little room already. And you go straight down the hallway. You got the headquarters. They're constantly running set and go blind draws in there. And you're like, man, that place is booming. And as soon as you round the corner, you go in, it's like boards everywhere, and there's probably 1,000 people in there. It was crazy.
God, that's awesome.
It was wild. Like, I mean, as soon as you walk in, it take you probably 5-10 minutes to get to the plate, the board, to get in there to play whenever you walk in, because there's so many people you already just walking up and talking to you, just because you already know half of them. So everybody just want to stop and talk to you. But by the time you get in there, it's amazing. There's nothing like it, really.
God, that's really cool. And so, as far as your road to qualifying, you start off in rounders and singles as well, or is that just for doubles?
Actually, in the Worlds, it was just a bracket play. But for the qualifier, it was a rounders. It was a 4 games rounders. They had so many people. I think it was 840 in the qualifier, and they split them into 2 brackets. And one bracket, I think it was like 840, so it was like 420 players played in the early AM rounders. I think it started like 9:30, and everybody played 1 game an hour until the 4 games were done. And everybody that was 3-1 or 4-0 got automatically advanced to the 6 o'clock bracket. Then I was in the 130 pool, and I felt like that was a good thing too, because I coming in at 130, you play all your games, and when you get done, you're almost at 6 o'clock. So you really don't have a long time to take off. Like the people who played the early morning games, they had that. They could have left, went and did what they wanted for 4 or 5 hours, then came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in the 130 bracket, which it was good because you play one game an hour.
Nice.
So you got to stay as hot as you got to stay as hot as you could stay in that particular instance. So that's good. That's good.
And I felt like it also helped me out a lot too, because I've been in a boot since the beginning of June, and I've been throwing really good in it, actually. Amazing. Better than I thought I would. And
just keep wearing it now. Yeah.
I mean, I literally feel like whenever I do get out of it, I'm tie a shoestring to it and just carry it to the tournaments and put it on the play. And I'm thinking, but in singles, it drags me down. Like if anybody can get a game lasting 15 to 20 minutes in singles in this thing, it just like I start getting tired because it's carrying it around. It's a pain in the butt.
Right. No, I could see that for sure.
With the rounders and in the qualifier, you had a game every hour. So once you got done, I had a break. So that actually helped out a lot.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. Nice. And who did you end up playing in that last game to qualify? Because I was watching the live stream, and there were a couple people I wanted to see. We've got a guy out here, Bobby Hunt, who qualified, and he plays at like our local blind draw and stuff here. And I wanted to see him play. I wanted to see you play, but neither of you guys' games were available to watch.
Well, if you were friends with me, you could have seen my game. My wife always goes live for me.
Okay.
Always. But you need to send a friend request.
Honestly, I can't even really think of I can't think of his name. Yeah. I can't think of his name to save my life.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, 840 or something.
Well, and that was a very big game too. So all the little outside things are going to kind of fade.
Yeah, and out of literally the 8 people I played one person I knew. So that was, and I've thrown against the one person, Ryan Hart, a few times. I mean, he's in the process of trying to make the switch over to ACL 2. I mean, he's a really good thrower, and he was the only person I played that I actually knew. Everybody else, and that was the good thing about you going out there. There's so many people coming out from all over the country to play, and you don't know half of them.
Yeah,
which I think helps in that situation, honestly.
I'm opposite. I'd rather play somebody I know, because my wife gets mad at me because I'll be at cornhole playing, watching cornhole on my phone, and because I watch how people play. I like to see what how they throw. Like if they're that everybody's got a style, they've got weakness. Everybody's got a weakness. Everybody's got a strength, and I like to keep up with it. And a lot of times I'll go into certain games because I feel like I've got a really good airmail. If somebody's not very good at it, I'll block and I'll make them shoot it just to get better. And if somebody's everybody's got different styles to their game, and I try to play to their styles usually.
Yeah, no, I could see your side of it for sure. When I was thinking, I was like, well, it'd be good to not know them, because then you just can 100% focus on your game and not even think about it. But you make a very good point. I mean, that's why people study film, and that's why, football teams study film, basketball teams study film, because you want to, it would be better for you to go in and have a game plan and approach in that situation. If they can airmail, then you want to block them and make them shoot all day. But if they do, maybe you just want to go hole for hole. So I'm with you.
Well, I think I started that whole thought process whenever the flopping came around, because I can't flop. Like if I try to flop, I might as well just be sitting in a chair eating food, because I shouldn't be playing. My flop is terrible. And all the younger generation, they love to flop. So so that's one thing I watch. I like is if somebody can flop, then I like to block and shoot airmail. So if I know they can, I won't. I just go hole for hole. Like
there's not a lot of point,
because that beats me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, and it's like it's like one of the things we've always talked about when it comes to roll bags or flop shots or any of that versus an airmail. I mean, your airmail can be high percentage, and you have a very high percentage airmail. You make a considerable amount of airmails. But that being said, if you miss your airmail, you're more likely to go off the board. If they miss their flop, they're more likely to stay on, and that could be the difference in a point for that round.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you. So you have to be very strategic about that.
That's one reason why I do watch a lot, just to keep up with certain players. I like to know a certain player. That's the reason why I watch a lot of people play, because I like to see what they're good at and what they're not.
Yeah,
that's cool. Who is your favorite ACL pro to watch? Like, whose style do you like the most?
I love strategy and the way people play, and Damon Dennis, I've always been a fan of.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I love Damon
great.
Dennis. And
you want me to just knock his off?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, if whatever you need, I guess he can do it.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just his style. I've always I've enjoyed his style, and I feel like I really enjoy. I do. I love Jordan Power. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan Power and
you love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'd really like. We've always loved Damon Dennis. Dad, you met him at that event in Memphis, right?
Yeah, I did. I got to actually,
second,
I got to actually throw with him, and it was a funny story because he threw very poorly our first game, and I was like, this is so weird. Why? This is Damon Dennis. How is he throwing poorly? But we ended up losing that game, and then I threw like crap the second game. So we went 0-2, and people were like, how'd you go 0-2 with Damon Dennis? Dang. I'm like, well, it was a combination of things. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
He was actually the first person that wasn't like, at he was there at Worlds. I don't know if he was there that Sunday late, but like everybody that was with us, that after I made pro, they congratulated me after I made it through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
He was the first person to message me on Facebook.
Oh,
that is really cool. That's awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, that's special for sure. Tuck that away for sure.
Yeah. He's a real, I don't know. It's just nothing but respect. I mean, he's a great guy.
And he can bag. Man, he can throw bags.
No doubt. That is awesome. So, as far as your pro status now, are there any sort of requirements that you have to even play in that pool, or is it everybody can come, everybody can play, and then once you qualify, do you have to attend a certain amount of events? Like, what's expected of you now as an ACL pro?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I've only been getting what people have told me so far. Like other pros, I haven't received anything yet. I think that's all being sent out sometime in September. So I really don't know what the whole expectation is. I know my expectations. So
heck yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to ask you, what are your goals in the ACL? Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
I mean, I really do feel like, I mean, like I said, confidence is key.
Yep.
No reason. Number one is on everybody's mind.
Absolutely.
But it's just, I mean, going into this first year, like I've told my wife numerous times, I set my mind on something. I accomplished it so far, and I've got my mind set on something right now, and I'm gonna get it. I mean,
I love it. Yeah.
This is the way I feel. I mean, I got high expectations of myself, like everybody should. I mean, you walk into a tournament, like it could be top 20 of the top 20 players in the world there in the rankings right now. I walk in my mind, there's no reason I'm not the best player in the building. That's just the way every player should feel.
No, you're right. Well, and
I totally agree.
I know we're going to be pulling for you. I've always been, I think you probably know, but I've always been like one of your biggest fans, probably next to your wife. But I always hope the best for you and pull for you. So I'm really going to be watching and hoping the best for you, because I want to see you on ESPN.
God, yeah, that'd be so cool.
I want to see, and Caitlin too, and Maddie. I want all these people. Like we've got these people in our area that can freaking throw, and I want everybody to know it.
So, like, our area has gotten so strong, and it's crazy. I mean, there's really nothing ever easy whenever you go to something local.
No.
Like, I can sit and watch people play, and I'm like, man, these guys, they're it's like amazing to watch where they've come. And there's a guy, I think, he's been playing for like 4 months, one of the local guys down here, and that dude's just he's got an amazing throw. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed by how far they've come in so short time. Like, I was like, man, when I first started, it took me forever to get good.
Yeah, I don't want to meet
joke.
that guy because I'm already mad at him.
Yeah, we hate him. Put it down. The flop hates that guy wherever you are. 4 months and you're super good. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, nope.
It's just crazy on how good they get. But I mean, when we first started out, it was just, when I literally first started, Philip Barnett was the big dog in Memphis. And
oh yeah, he beat the crap out of me when I first started a couple times. I remember it well.
It took me forever to get to where, if it took me forever to even like score, then when the first time I ever beat him, I don't remember the day. Dude, it was on a Thursday. I don't remember the day, the number of the day, or the date, but I know exactly where we were, and the first time I ever beat him in one-on-one in singles. And ever since then, it's like, because it's like, as a player, you got your mindset on like where you can go, and you've got, to me, it's similar to any sport. Somebody's always got somebody's number, it seems like. But once you can get over that hump and beat them one time, it's like, then all of a sudden it's like everything becomes easier. So it's like everybody from then on, then you set your goal on somebody else.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Man,
it's like you climb the hill, and then once you beat them, it's downhill from there. You know it's possible. I've done it.
Yes.
And it just in your brain, it clicks, and
And see, with Phil being the big dog in Memphis, it was like, when I finally got to that, then me and him started playing together, and we started traveling, because it was like that was I had to go out of the area to play better players. And now I feel like the players have gotten so good in Memphis, it's like the traveling you don't have to do. All the local players are going to get better just by playing against us all the time. Then they can take off.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
And there's some good ones.
That's a huge pointer for all of us. I mean, I just from hearing you talk the past, in this past episode, I really do think that the barriers in this game are mental. I mean, everybody's throwing 4 bags. Like I don't really know what's possible, how good you can be. I mean, maybe, there are people that are already throwing perfect games and things like that, but just from hearing you talk, I really think that it is a mental barrier. You have to be locked into, your why, like, why am I doing this? What do I want to achieve? You really got to lock into your greater purpose, your greater why. And it sounds like you're doing that.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, you got to have a purpose. It's just part of it. The purpose does go a long way. Confidence. This game, I think all the new people that came up to me over the past couple of weeks, I've literally told them, once you figure out your throw, which is like, it don't take long for figure out for somebody how to throw the bag. I mean, once you get it flat and everything starts working, you get that. That's only, like, to me, I feel like 1% of the game. Now the other 99%, mental.
Yeah. It seems like it.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, it is. It's this game, you can get in your head so easy, then everything's downhill from there.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I've noticed it a million times. If you play one game and you play poorly, and then you start off another game poorly, then you start to really just beat on yourself, and you're like, why am I doing this? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, everything collapses. So you've got to. It's literally the next bag. Yep. You throw the first bag and you front board, you got 3 more bags. You need to believe that those 3 bags can go in that hole.
Yeah. There's nothing
you can still throw a 9.
Yeah. There's nothing you can change about that first bag you threw.
It's gone.
So
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Just move on, let it go. Then worst case scenario, you give up, 3.
yeah, that's right. I mean, that's the way you got to look at it at that point. Yeah.
They make a mistake, it drops down to giving up 1. So I mean, it's just,
there you go.
You got to really just be able to let stuff go. Like, yeah, I get frustrated a lot, but I've also felt like I've gotten really good at getting frustrated in the middle of like the round, but stepping back, letting it go, then stepping back up and throw.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example would be your game against, Caleb Hurt. You give up a 9, but then you manage to wash him out, or score on him for the rest of the game. Like, you let that go. You didn't go, I gave up a 9, the world's collapsing, it's over with. And then it'd be very easy for him to go ahead and get that 1, right?
If you actually was there, that complete opposite.
Oh, was it?
Complete opposite.
Okay.
I turned around and looked at my buddy Brandon Sparks, and I was all like, Caitlin better win this game because I don't want the bags back.
Yeah. We all know that feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
I want the bags back, we're losing. And for somehow Caleb had like the next round he had 3 bags hanging up around the hole, and he shot an airmail and nothing went. That everything clogged up, and I think it was a 5-on-4 watch or 5-on-4. I got 1 point.
Nice. I love those. And
wow.
Yeah. So, you were like, thank you, God.
Yeah. Then the very next round, Caitlin won it because that's when I was like, I don't want the bags back. I don't.
No.
I was really having a moment myself right
there. Yeah. Yeah, but you made it through.
Oh yeah. And as soon as we got through that game, it's like I wanted the bags. It didn't matter. Like as soon as we got by that game, it's like, your confidence, your like the excitement on the win, like coming like from behind like that. It's like the boost. It's like everything was like, boom, I want the bags now.
Yeah. I know that.
That is awesome. So the last thing I wanted to ask you is just what's a major lesson that you've learned over the years? What advice would you give to someone that's really trying to become more consistent and trying to become a better player? Maybe not even trying to qualify as a pro, but they want to succeed at blind draws. They want to have the confidence in order to be a good partner at blind draws and to excel at this game.
Confidence is something I can never express enough in my mind. Like, just believe in yourself. Even if no one else does, just believe in yourself. Like, I've been in blind draws, partner to like, don't shoot that shot, do this, and I've already had my mind made up on something else I was going to do.
Wow. Yeah.
It's just believe in yourself. This game, everybody that's new, starting out, if you love the game, stick with it. I mean, and I haven't met anybody that doesn't love the game. Like, you play 1 or 2 times going to some blind draw, you're hooked. I mean, it's just there's no way around it. Like, if you got anything in you, like if you showed up just to play, then you're going to be hooked. So just stick with it. Advice, practice. I mean, practice. I can't say it enough. Like, I've had a lot of people like for a while, I got on a bad stretch of not practicing, and people were like, how often do you practice? I'm like, I don't really consider blind draws practice. And I'm like, I play one blind. I used to play one blind draw a week, and then I show up on Saturday. And that happened for a good 6-7 months. Where like, and there'd be times where I wouldn't even throw a blind draw during the week, like for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Then all of a sudden, I'd just show up on Saturday. And I felt like coming from softball, I pitched in softball. I felt like it helped me out a lot. So everything just came back natural. It was the same as whenever I got, I messed up my foot and I got in a boot. I took I think it was like 6 weeks off. Everything, I came back, everything just felt better again because you start just believe in yourself. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. You love the game. You're going to stick with it. Practice. I mean, never be afraid to ask somebody for advice either.
Yeah.
Or help.
Definitely.
I mean, if you run across somebody you ask for help or advice and they refuse to give it to you, let me know. I'll have a talk with them. They need some advice themselves.
Heck yeah. I totally agree, man.
If afraid to give you any kind of help, then they shouldn't be playing this game.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's like, I agree with you completely. Never be afraid to approach the people that at your specific blind draw, wherever you are in the country, you've got that guy who's so good, and you just watch him week in and week out. Don't be afraid to talk to that guy, because chances are he's going to be very helpful. He's going to, he or she, I mean, you know, or they're going to be very helpful. They're going to be happy to see you interested, and they're going to want the best for you, and they're going to want you to grow as well, because that's just better competition for them.
Exactly. I mean,
no joke.
Yeah.
And one thing else that I like, you know, I used to be the type of person, like we were talking earlier. Whenever somebody used to want to play, I'd be like, you know, I was always like, I won't play anybody for fun. I just got to be something involved. And now it's like, you know, I enjoy throwing against people, like, just like for fun. Like, we at Local Blind Draws, we got people that are just trying to get better, and they don't want to lose money to somebody on something just for fun. Like, so I've been playing so many people lately just for regular, just fun, single, one-on-one games, just to try to let them see where they stand. Then also it gives them something to, like, let them what they need to work on.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean,
I love it. I was going to say, when you take the money off of, like, you know, like you said, if you're playing for $5 or whatever, that puts a little bit of pressure on there. And so for a player who, you know, is not, and they know they're not as good as you are, you know, they're going to play tight. They're not going to try that shot that maybe they want to try to see if they can hit it or anything like that. They're going to want to try to be safe and minimize the damage and all of that. So yeah, I'm with you. It's like, you know, playing against somebody like you for fun, a lot of times I really enjoy it. I'm not a big play for money person anyway. I just like to throw bags. And so I'll throw against you casually in between games at a blind draw or something like that. And I always have a good time. It's always fun because it's like, it's no pressure. And, you know, I can throw against you and just be in that moment and try to learn and play the best I can, but also not have that pressure over me of, I got to make this airmail. I'm just like, I'm just going to try this airmail. You know, it's like, it's so important to just play for fun. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago on our episode. It's like, just play more for fun. Go out there with no purpose other than just throwing bags and having a good time. It's where you can get a lot of growth and a lot of confidence in those moments.
Oh yeah. Like literally, I'll throw, especially in those games, I'll hit shots that, like, normally in regular game situations, I may not try because I'm trying to play more tighter or something. But it's just, it helps you too. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Josh, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We are so looking forward to your next season in the ACL. I have no doubt that you are going to compete at an extremely high level, and we believe in you, and we can't wait to see you and Caitlin throw down and mix doubles too. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I need to get carried again.
That's awesome. But yeah, thanks so much again, man. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.
See ya.